ChatGPT said, "They bulldozed the dock I built for my late wife, fined me for trespassing on my own land, and poured millions into their resort. They thought I was powerless. They didn't realize a tiny mistake in their paperwork would turn their palace into my $150 million payday." Patience pays. Where are you watching from? Could you stay calm while everything you love was being destroyed? My name is Ezra Mendes, and this island wasn't just property. It was the last piece of Sarah I could touch. Half an acre of rock, cedar, and memories, bought with the last of our savings after cancer took her from me. 25 years I rode across the lake, fog thick on the water, pine-scented air filling my lungs, to this tiny sanctuary. I'd built the dock and footbridge with my own hands. Every plank, every bolt, every rope knot carried our story, our life together. As a Navy CB, I had built runways in deserts and bases in jungles, but nothing I ever constructed meant as much as these simple structures. The island was quiet. Mist hugged the lake like a soft blanket, early sunlight glinting off the water, and for a few stolen moments each morning, it felt like Sarah was there, watching the same sun rise. Her laughter echoed in the wind, her voice a whisper among the cedars. This place was sacred, untouched by the outside world, until the HOA arrived, armed with clipboards, construction crews, and the kind of arrogance money can buy. It was about to become the battlefield for patience, revenge, and a $150 million twist that no one saw coming. The sun wasn't even over the ridge, yet when I pushed my rowboat into the water, the fog hung low on the lake, so thick you could taste the pine in it. Every morning for 25 years, this was my ritual. Me, the boat, and the quiet glide across the half-mile of water to the island. My island, it wasn't much, just a half-acre of rock and cedar, but it was the only place left on earth that felt like it belonged to Sarah and me. I had bought it with the last of our savings after the cancer took her. As a Navy CB, I'd built runways in deserts and bases in jungles, but the small dock and footbridge on that island were the most important things I ever put my hands on. They were sturdy, simple, and meant to last. Just like her, I was tying up the boat when a voice sliced through the morning calm, sharp enough to cut glass. "Mr. Mendes, a word if you please." I turned. On the shore stood Marcia Clean, the new HOA president. She held a clipboard like a weapon, and even from 50 yards away, I could feel the self-importance rolling off her in waves. I rowed back, my gut already telling me this wasn't a social call. She didn't wait for me to get out of the boat. She just tapped a manicured finger on her clipboard. "Your unapproved structures are in violation of shoreline conformity rules," she said, her voice flat and rehearsed. Specifically, the dock and that makeshift bridge. I swallowed hard, staring at her with disbelief. This was my property. Every plank, every rope, every bolt had my name on it. And yet, here was a woman with a clipboard, demanding fines, waving papers like she owned the world. Her construction crews were already in motion, bulldozers groaning and biting into the soil, removing the dock I had built for Sarah. For us, the only part of this island that still felt alive. She smirked, as if the destruction was performance for her alone. I clenched my fists and watched the crew tear down decades of memories. I could feel the rage bubbling beneath the calm, but I held it in. Every construction vehicle, every nail pulled from wood, every chip of cedar hitting the ground was a reminder. I would wait. I would watch. They were building their palace, their grand resort, and they had no idea it was being built for me, not them. They had made one tiny mistake in their paperwork, one tiny oversight, buried in legalese, that was about to turn this entire project into my personal $150 million payday. For now, I bided my time. I photographed, documented, and studied their every move. The resort grew, each cabin, pool, and terrace a testament to their arrogance. They celebrated each milestone as if they had conquered the island, oblivious to the fact that they had stepped into my game, one I had been planning silently, meticulously for months. Every day, I arrived in my rowboat, mist curling around the hull, watching bulldozers scrape the land, cranes lift steel beams, and construction crews chatter over clatter of progress. I could feel Sarah in the wind, in the smell of pine and fresh-cut cedar, and I knew that patience was my weapon. I imagined the moment I would reclaim everything. The look on Marcia Clean's face when she realized the queen of the HOA had been outplayed. Weeks turned into months, and the resort took shape, glinting glass facades, manicured lawns, infinity pools. And I waited, documenting every misstep, every overlooked detail in the permits and contracts that would later become my leverage. I spent nights poring over legal documents, blueprints, and county filings, each line a puzzle piece in the plan I had built silently alongside their construction. I could see the smugness in the HOA board meetings through newspaper articles and occasional visits, completely unaware that their golden resort rested on a tiny error that would cost them everything. The mistake was small, almost laughable in its simplicity, but it was enough. Enough to turn this multi-million-dollar empire of arrogance into my fortune. I imagined walking to the resort once it was complete. Every corridor, every suite, every pool, mine legally, financially, morally. The day finally came when I filed the necessary paperwork, the legal equivalent of pressing a hidden button. Their construction empire, their palace of entitlement, became mine. I could see Marcia's expression through the courtroom gallery, disbelief washing over her like a tide. Every construction permit she had waived, every fine she had slapped on me, every arrogant smirk, all meaningless now. The resort, where hundreds of millions had been built under her oversight, but legally belonged to me. Months of patience, observation, and quiet strategy had turned their arrogance into my windfall. When the sale closed, $150 million transferred into my accounts, the resort standing gleaming in the sun, and I felt a satisfaction so deep it was almost tangible. I walked the grounds, imagining Sarah beside me, smiling at the victory we had earned silently. Marcia Clean and the HOA board learned, in the harshest way possible, that patience, knowledge, and restraint can outmaneuver even the most powerful, most arrogant opponents. My small half-acre island, my love for Sarah, and my ability to wait had converted a battlefield into a triumph. As I rowed back across the lake for the last time, the mist curling around the oars, I felt a peace I hadn't known since her death. The dock had been rebuilt, this time as a monument to patience and love, standing firm despite everything. The wind whispered through the cedars, carrying with it the memory of every sunrise we had shared. This island was ours, and now it was more than a sanctuary. It was a testament to strategy, endurance, and the quiet power of waiting. And as the sun broke over the ridge, reflecting on the water, I realized that the world often underestimates those who wait silently. Revenge is best served cold, and victory, when earned with patience, tastes sweeter than anything money can buy. My story wasn't just about reclaiming land or earning a fortune. It was